चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायिने कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्थेषुभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदायादिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। स्वस्ति अस्तु विश्वस्य खलः प्रसीदताम् ध्यायन्तु भूतानि शिवं मिथो धिया मनश्च भद्रं भजतादधोक्षजे आवेश्यतां नो मतिरप्यहैतुके। Reading from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Canto 10, chapter number 8, verse 46. So what we read is that Sri Krishna, he was eating the clay and the boys complained to Mother Yashoda, and she came and asked him to open the mouth, and inside she saw the whole universe. And by seeing that, she was bewildered, thinking, what is this? Am I dreaming? Is it Maya of Deva or Deva Maya? Or is it Madhya with Buddhi Moha, my delusion of my intelligence? Or Kaschan Utpatti Yoga? Or is it some power of my son? So all this deliberation she had, and then she became little detached. So at that time Krishna Gatanot Vaishnavim Mayam Putra Snehamayim. So he expanded his Vaishnavi Maya, and then Yashoda again lifted Krishna up in her lap. So there it was described that how her love for Krishna did not diminish by seeing all this Aishwarya. So hearing that, King Parikshit, he asked question to sage Shukdev. Shri Raja Uvacha Nandaha kimakarod brahman Shreya evam mahodayam Yashoda cha mahabhaga papau yashyam stanam hari. So he asked this question, that what is the great activity which Nanda Maharaj did to have such an outcome of having Krishna as the son, and what is the wonderful action performed by Yashoda, that Swam Hari, he drank the milk from her breast. So I think we did this sloka. So Pitarau nan vindate anvideta nan vavindetam Krishnodara arbhake hitam Gayanta chapi kaviyo yalloka samalapaham. So he says that his parents did not get this fortune to see Krishna's arbhake hitam, his Rāsa-līlā. And Gayanti adyapi kavayo, that even today the kavis, the poets, the great sages, they sing about it, which is dispelling this impurities of the heart. Yalloka samlapaham. So this is a comparison which is being made here between Yashoda and Devaki, or Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj and Devaki and Vasudev, that although he was born to them, but they were not given the good fortune to witness the Leela of Krishna in his childhood. Krishna Udara Arbhake Hitam. So it's wonderful. The Leela is called here as Udara, or generous. Somebody who is very charitable is called Udar. So these Leelas are also Udar, they are generous. Why? Because Loka Samalapam, they purify the heart. Therefore they are very generous. So Tav Kathamritam Tapta Jivanam Kavi Bhiraditam. So this is what says the Kaviyo Adyapi Gayante. Why the sound is So nanu pītaṣeṣa gadābhritah iti vachanāt devakyapi stanam papo iti atyaha pitarau. So in the previous verse it was said that Yashoda cha mahabhaga papo yasya stanam hari. That Yashoda is Mahabhaga, she is very fortunate. Why? Because Krishna drank milk from her breast. So now one may say, well, he drank milk from Devaki's breast also. So what is the pramana for that? Because at least we didn't read that. So there is a statement in 85th chapter, Pita Shesham Gadabhrita. So this is when Devaki requested Krishna to bring back the 6 children which were killed by Kamsa. So he brought them and they drank milk. Pitva amritam payastasya pita shesham gadabhrita. Narayananga sanspar sta labdhatma darsana. So there it is described that they drank because when he brought them they were small kids, and Devaki fondled them because he never got the chance to play with her own children. And as soon as they were born, they were killed. And they drank milk from Devaki's breast. But there it is described that they drank the milk which was drank by Krishna. Pita Shesham Gadabhrita. Gadabhrita is Krishna's name. So although there is no mention anywhere, we don't see, but from this it appears. Maybe later on he also drank when he went to Mathura. So he says that, so therefore you are making Yashoda as distinguished because of breastfeeding Krishna, but Devaki also did it, so there is no difference. So therefore he speaks this verse, that Pitrau na anvavindetam Krishna udara arbhake hitam, that the parents Vasudeva and Devaki, they were not able to witness the activities of Krishna's childhood. So even if you say that Devaki also breastfed Krishna, but she was not able to see the pastimes of his childhood. And these are the activities which are sung by the Kavis even today. So generally you see that most of the description which you see of Krishna in songs or in plays or in paintings, music, art, it's all about Vraj. Although he was here only for 11 years and he lived for 125 years. So rest 114 years he spent outside Vraj. And most of the literature which you read about Krishna is about those 11 years. So that's why he says, Gayanti Adhyapi Kavayo Yalloka Shamalapaham. That even today they sing about this Arbhake Hitam, this Bala-līlā of Sri Krishna. So that's what is mentioning here, that the parents were not able to witness this. So ityaha pitarau asmat kule pitritvena khyatau devaki vasudevau Krishnas udaram ati sukhapradam ati mahacha abhihitam arbhake hitam balcharitram na anvavindetam chakshuradibhir ashadetum na labdhatam. So he says that this verse actually is still being spoken by King Parikshit only, not Sukadeva, that the Vasudeva and Devaki, which are belonging to our Kula, our dynasty, because Subhadra came from there and Kunti also. So Devaki and Vasudeva, they were not able to witness the Bal Charitra of Krishna, which is very udar, which is ati sukha prada. Why it is udar? Because it gives so much happiness, very charitable, munificent. Na anvavindetam chakshuradivir asvadetum na alabtam. They were not able to see it with their own eyes. They may be hearing about it, because they were in Mathura, so they would get the news about Krishna's activities, but they could not see it. So Udarpadena Rama Matritva Abhimanini Rohini Vatsaharana Lila Prapta Matri Bhava Gopyascha Vyavritta Yata Arbhake Hitam. So here by the word Udara, he is trying to also exclude Rohini, although she was present there, Rama Matritva Abhimanini, who has the identity of Ram's mother, and also those gopis who got the chance to be Krishna's mother when Brahma stole the calves and cowherd boys, and Krishna had explained himself as the cowherd boys So they were also having Krishna as their son, but they did not witness his Arbhakehitam, Krishna's own pastime as Krishna. That was not witnessed by them. So yata abhi Arbhakehitam. Therefore he says the word Arbhakehitam. So then he starts speaking, answering. Sri Sukha Vacha Drono Vasunam Prabaro Dharya Sah Bharyaya Karishyamane Adeshan Brahmanastam Uvachaha. So Sukdev said that among the Drona Vasus there was Drona. There are 8 Vasus and one of them is named as Drona and his wife's name was Dhara. So Dharaya sa Bharya Karishyamane Adeshan Brahmana. So he wanted to follow the Brahma's order. Satam Uvacha. And to him means to Brahma he spoke as follows. So Krishna avatarasya tadiya Rāsa-līlā nam cha nityattvādeva nandyasodayor nityat siddhatvam spashtam. So he says that Krishna is eternal, his Rāsa-līlā is eternal, therefore Nanda and Yasoda are also eternal. So it is not that Nanda and Yasoda were Drona and Dhara in their past life and by tapasya they attained this position. So why is he speaking like this? So he says, Napi etadrusha prema sadhan siddhau bhavatum arhati ityapi janato api rajyo asya prashnoyam yatha bhaktau avitpannasya itha tatastatra mamapi utram tadrishi bhavitum arhati iti prashri rajanya udasana manayeva hadroneti. So he says that this type of love which Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj had, it is not an outcome of some sadhana. It is not achieved by performing sadhana bhakti. Because they are nitya siddha parikaras and their prema is also nitya siddha, it is not an outcome of sadhana. It is not possible. So therefore he knew, Sukadeva Maharaj, that this king is asking this question, Rajgyo asya prashno ayam yatha bhakta vitpannasya iti. He is speaking as if he does not know all this. So then he also speaks in the same way. So mamapi utram tadrishi bhavitum arhati. As is the question, such is the answer. So if question is not intelligent, then answer also not intelligent. So prashtare rajani udasin manayeva. So he was very indifferent when he answered like this, because he was not impressed by the question. Why? Because this question assumes that Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda are not eternal associates, and the love they have for Krishna is not eternal, but they are achieved by some process. So this is also to inspire people, sadhan bhaktas, that they achieved it so that they can also be like that. So adeshan gopalanadi lakshanan tam brahmanam. So karishyamane adeshan brahmanastam uvacha. Brahma had ordered them that he should take birth in Vraja and tend cows. So they agreed to that, and to them they spoke as follows. Mike.
This? Okay. This reasoning that Chakravarti is giving here, that because the question was not very proficient, then my answer will be the same. Or however you want to phrase it. What is the... I guess I'm wondering, why would Shukadev take that attitude? I mean, normally, if a student has a misunderstanding, the teacher wants to correct that as opposed to go along with it.
No, he is thinking that he is knowingly asking this. The teacher knows that Parikshit also is asking this question knowingly for the sake of other people. So he is also answering like that. He knows that Parikshit knows that Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj are not like that. Yet he is asking it. So since he is asking like that, then he also answers like that. Obviously he wants an answer like that only.
Okay, I'm with you there. Then why does he use this word avyutpanna? Why does he describe it like that?
Yatha bhakta avyutpannasya. Means just as if somebody who is not expert in bhakti. I think there is a mistake here. It should be bhaktau avyutpanna. There should be one. You have two va or only one va? One?
This edition has one. Just one.
Okay.
So it's like...
Anyway, one can be dropped.
I see. So he's saying, although Parikshit Maharaj knows better, he is asking this question like an inexperienced person, and Shukadev is saying, okay, you want to talk on that level, then alright, here's the answer on that level. Like that.
Yeah.
I see. Okay.
Just like later on he asks similar question, that why did Krishna do this Rāsa-līlā? He is the Dharma Setu. So why he performed this Pardaravhi Marshana? Pratipam Acharan Brahman Pardaravhi. Why did he act immorally? So he is asking, obviously not Parikshit does not think that Krishna is immoral, but knows that among the audience many people would think like that. So sometimes questions are asked not for your own sake, but some other people may not dare to ask question, and also he was the prime audience. There is no one else is asking questions, he is the only one, so therefore he asks like that.
Bhavaji Maharaj, I also had a question in previous shloka. Here it is said that Teeth Shesham Gadabhrita. So Gadabhrita is the wielder of Gada. Like when he is using this breast milk point. So any particular reason this Gadabhrita is used there?
Because when Krishna was born he had Gada.
Okay. And
so he is Gadabhrita.
So and the second point there which I was having in my mind was that when this Rāsa-līlā was done, so then Krishna was son of all the gopis, and at that time they fed him also, and they were also witnessing his Bal-līlā. So why is he saying they were not able to, why has he excluded these gopis and Devaki? So Devaki I can understand, like after being born in the prison, Krishna was taken to this Gokula. But in this case when they were in Vraj and after Vatsaran, all of them were feeding also Krishna and they were watching his, so why have they been not included?
Yeah, but by that time Krishna was already grown up, he was tending calves. They did not witness the Leela when he is lying in the cradle or he is kicking around, he is crawling on the ground, all this. This was not witnessed by them. I mean, they may have seen something, but not everything. That's why he uses the word arbhaka. Arbhake hitam. So jatiyor nau mahadeve bhuvi vishveshware harau bhakti syat parmaloke yaya anjo durgatim taret. So this is the boon they asked Brahma. Said jatayor nau mahadeve, that when we will be born here on earth, bhuvi jatayo, now our mahadeve vishveshware harau bhakti syat, that we should have bhakti to Mahadeva. Mahadeva does not mean Shiva here. Mahadeva is commonly used for Shiva. Vishveshwara and Hari, because it's coming along with the word Hari. And what kind of bhakti? Parama bhakti, not ordinary. So bhakti parama syat loke ya anjo durgatim taret. So by which people can easily cross over. So by this bhakti, people here in this world, they can easily transcend their conditioning. So jatayor iti anene bhavini janmani iti labhyate. So by the word jatayo, it signifies their next birth. So Mahana Deva Krida Yasya Tasmin. So what is the meaning of the word Mahadeva? Mahadeva generally means a great Deva, great God. But Deva comes from the root Divu, Divu Kridayam. Divu also Dyuti, Dyotne. So means who is a great player, means who performs great Leela. That is the meaning of Mahadeva. So that's why it says Mahana Deva Krida Yasya Tasmin, who performs wonderful pastimes, that is Mahadeva. Bhuvi sthitau yo Vishveshwaras tasmin Vishvepi Ishvara yatra tasmin paravaresho mahadansyukte iti uddhavokte purna ityartha. And then he says Bhuvi sthitoyo Vishveshwara. So who is Vishveshwara? Means who is the master of the Vishwa, although on earth. So there are other Vishveshwaras, but they are not on earth. Mahavishnu is there, but he is not on earth. So he is Vishveshwara, but where he is Vishveshwara? Bhuvi Vishveshwara. So, yeah, Vishveshwara Tasmin, we should have bhakti in this. Or Vishve api Ishvara yatra tasmin. Or even in this Vishwa, all the Ishwaras are inside him. Means he is complete. Paravaresho Mahadansyukta, as it is said in Bhagavatam, that he is Paravaresha. He is the ruler of everything and he is Mahadansyukta. He has all the amsas in him. So means the complete. So he is glossing the word Vishveshwara as Purna Bhagavan, Swam Bhagavan. And Hari, so Harair Aviyor Manas Chaure. And Hari is one who Hari Harti iti Hari, one who steals. So he is Hari who steals our minds. So that bhakti should be in him. Parmeti phalena phal karanam anumiyate iti nyayat swahridya vicharita pitritva uchita vatsalya mayityartha. So what is the meaning of the word Parama Bhakti? That we should have Parama Bhakti, supreme bhakti to him. So he says this can be only understood from the result. What was the result? That they became his parents. So therefore, when they are saying Parama Bhakti, that's what they had in the mind, that we should have this bhakti. So that's why it says Swahridaya Vicharita Pitritva Uchita Vatsalyamai. Although not stated here clearly, but this is what they thought in their mind, that or in their heart. Yaya asmad bhaktya bhavishyantya tat shravan kirtanadina अन्योपि सर्वलोकः दुर्गति तरेति शुद्ध प्रेम भक्ति प्रार्थनया तज्जन्मनि तयोस्तदनुरूपा साधन भक्तिरपि एका शुद्धैवासीदिति अवगम्यते. So he says that by this bhakti the people here in the material world will also transcend. Means the bhakti which we will perform, by hearing that others will also become purified. So yaya asmad bhaktya, by our bhakti bhavishyantya, in future, tat shravana kirtanadina anyopi, so by hearing about it, by speaking about it, anyopi sarvaloka durgatim taret, so they will transcend their conditioning of the material world. इति शुद्ध प्रेम भक्ति प्रार्थना तज्जन्मनि तयोर तदनुरूपा साधन भक्तिरपि एका शुद्धा एव सति इति अवगम्यते. So from this it is understood that this Dhara and Drona, in that life they were performing sadhana bhakti, and their sadhana bhakti was also Shuddha. It was not mixed. That's why they got this as the outcome. Natu prashni sutaporiva bhaktis tapo yogo chaiti purvam vyakhatam eva tat prasange tat phala. But unlike Prashni and Sutapa, because earlier in the 3rd chapter it was also described that Vasudeva and Devaki, they were Prashni and Sutapa. Prashni Garbha is called the name of Krishna. So their bhakti was not pure like this, because that was in Aishwarya. There they had the idea of Putra Bhavena and Brahma Bhavena. They had the both type of mood towards Krishna as son and also as Supreme Person. But in their case it is not like that. In their case it is pure Shuddha Bhakti. So this is the distinction between them. This is what Sukadeva is describing. And Drona and Dhara, if this is the case with Drona and Dhara, then certainly that is the situation with Vasudeva and Devaki. That is to be understood. So अस्ति इत्युक्त स भगवान व्रजे द्रोणो महायशा जज्जे नंद इति ख्यातो यशोदा साधरा भवत. So after when they asked for this boon, then Brahma, he said, let it be so. Astu. Then Drona, he was born as Nanda Maharaj, the greatly famous one, and Yashoda, this Dhara became Yashoda. Saiva Drono Vraja Iha Nanda iti khyata. That very Drona, he became known as Nanda here in Vraja. Sadharaeva Iha Yashoda iti. And Dhara herself became Yashoda. Nitya Siddhayor Yashoda Nandayor Sadhan Siddhav Dhara Drono Pravishtav Abhutam ityartha. So what is the meaning that they became Nanda and Yashoda? Because Nanda and Yashoda are eternal. Earlier it was said that they are eternal associates, eternal parents. So the meaning is that Dhara and Drona, they entered into them. and thus they got the opportunity also to relish Krishna's pastime. Because nobody can become Yashoda, nobody can become Nanda Maharaj, but by doing their sadhana in previous life, they were able to enter into them. That's what it means. Tato bhaktir bhagavati putri bhute janardane dampatiyor nitramasid gop gopishu bharatah. So then onwards they had the supreme bhakti in Bhagavan Janardana, the couple Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj. Among all the Gopa and Gopis, their devotion was the supreme, Nitram, superior to everyone else. So Janardane Gopi Janan Premana Pidayati. So Janardan is the name of Krishna, but it comes from the root Ardha. One meaning of Ardha is to give trouble. So Janan Ardayati iti Janardana. One who gives trouble to people. People here means Asuras. So Janan Asuran Ardayati iti Janardana. So that is one meaning. There is also another Ardha Dhatu which has another meaning. There are two Ardha Dhatus. One means Hinsa, to be violent, to trouble, to kill. Another means Gati and Yachana. So Janai Ardate Prarthayate Yachate iti Janardana. So Janardana means to whom people pray, ask for boons, that is Janardana. Or Janai Gamyate, one who is reached by devotees, bhakti, that is Janardana. So here he says Janardana, he takes the first meaning of Ardha Himsayam, that one who gives trouble. So he says he gave trouble by his love. So Gopi Janan Premna Pridayati, because he also gave trouble to them by his love, right? So he was in Rāsa-līlā, then he disappeared. Gopis were troubled, searching for him. So that is Janardana. Or Navneet Chauryadi Upadravair Udvejati, or he was stealing their butter and thus troubling them. Therefore he is Janardana. So one troubles the gopis, Jana here means gopi. So he was troubling them by stealing butter, causing trouble, breaking pots, running away, leaving the calves. So therefore he is Janardana. Stanya rasam yachmana iti va, or one who was begging them for milk, or to Yashoda. So that is Janardana, different way of giving the meaning. Gopa Gopishu Madhye Dampatyor Yashoda Nandayor Bhaktir Nitram Asiditi. So among all the Gopas and Gopis, their devotion was superior to all of them. Nitaram. Gopaha Gopyascha Drona Dhariyor Anuvartines Tadrish Sadhanvanta Puru Janmani Asaniti Gyapita. So who are these Gopa and Gopis? He says they were also the followers of the Drona and Dhara in their previous life. So they all performed bhakti together in previous life. They all came together. So Drona and Dhara, they became or entered into Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj, and they will be entering into others. So they remained together.
Is there any place where any detail is given about this experience of entering? In other words, in this instance of Drona entering Jashoda, is she like watching a movie, or is she actually experiencing that her thoughts and actions are being manifested by her body? You know, in the sense of how much is she literally becoming Yashoda as opposed to somehow being present with Yashoda? Or what I'm asking is, when it says enter, what does that really imply?
Means they are inside that body and they think that this is their body. They are not just being there and witnessing, but they are inside the body and they are thinking that I am the mother and I am feeding Krishna. Because that's what they wanted, right? They said that Jati or no Mahadeve Bhuvi Vishweshwara Haro Bhakti Syat Parama Loke, that we should have bhakti. And then it says bhakti here means Vatsalyamayi bhakti. So if they will be just witnessing, then they would not be having that Vatsalya.
Okay, and then in that case, it brings up another question, which is, how is it then that this body that this Drona is identifying with, and which the Nitya Siddha Yashoda is identifying with, isn't getting at some point drawn in two directions by two independent
they're
conscious
completely
entities?
one, their mind is one. That is the meaning. They fuse as one, so both are there, because you cannot take away the identity of any living being. Everybody is eternal. So just as those people who get Brahma Mukti, they think I am Brahman. Of course, then Brahman there is no thinking, but that's what it means. Think before, not afterwards.
Okay, so generally we understand that when a Jiva Atma is transmigrating, it carries along with it its chitta, man, ahankar, sanskars,
Just
etc.
like suppose you have one computer, right? So in this computer there are programs, and sometimes you can share one computer with another one. So you will have the same screen projected onto your screen, and you can run all these programs on your computer. Your computer becomes like this computer.
So are you saying that then, so this Jivatma is entering into the ahankar, chitta, man, etc.
They get united with that.
of Yashoda? I'm not trying to chat. I'm just trying to appreciate this. So then, I guess.
Well, if you don't need to challenge. If you want to challenge them. They are writing it.
I don't mean to imply it's not accurate. I just like to appreciate how it's actually happening. So if at this point this other Jiva is now fully identified with all the faculties of Yashoda, then is the Gyatrita, Bhoktrita, Kartrita of that Jiva
functions through that only, because the Gyatritva is only potential. So just as somebody from this material world goes to spiritual world and gets a spiritual body, right? So what happens? Then that body functions, and this Atma is having an identity with that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So same happens in this. Yeah.
I see. So then, essentially, at that stage, because
Only
of the
thing is that now there are two who are sharing it. Yashoda is, the actual Yashoda is also there, because this is her body, and this one is also identifying with it.
uh-huh.
And later on it will come out and will give them separate position. They
Mhm.
get a chance to be like that here in this loka, and then they will also stay there with them. It's like sometimes people get Brahma Mukti, Brahma Sayuja, then they are also taken out from there.
Mm. So this then demonstrates that the Gyatrita, let's say, in the Jiva is a potential which will ultimately express itself identically with the Chitta, Samskars, etc. to which it's applied, and thus although this Jiva is in one sense independent, it will act, or its potentials to act will ultimately be perfectly congruent with that of the other Jiva in the same...
Because there is no other possibility.
Right.
Just like if you put current in this computer, then that current will act only through this computer and whatever are the programs. Now you connect another computer with this, so that programs don't work anymore and only this will work. So the current of that computer is also now functioning according to the program here. Similar.
Babaji Maharaj, on this one I have little more I just wanted to ask, because you discussed there's some questions on the past. So basically now this drone and Dhara are merged with Nand and Yashoda. So this will be only in this Bhū-līlā, in this Bhūlok, when Krishna is running his pastimes in one of the brothers in various planets. So it will be at that time, and once that is wound up, and he moves to another planet, or then where does Dhara Drone go? Or they go eternally with them?
I don't know. I mean, I can speculate, but I don't want to. Unless I get some pramana from Shastra, I cannot say. So Krishna Brahmana Adesham Satyam Kartum Braje Vibhu Saharama Vasanchakre Tesham Pritim Svalilaya. So now he says that Krishna Brahmana Adesham Satyam Kartum Braje Vibhu. Vibhu Krishna Brahmana Adesham Satyam Kartu Saharamo Braje Vasan Svalilaya Tesam Pritim Chakre. So following the wish of Brahma, who has given the boon to Nanda and Yashoda that he will come as your son, he remained here in Braja along with Balram while giving love to Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj by his activities. So this is the end of this chapter. Adesham Parama Bhakti Rastu iti Varam. So what is the order of Brahma? Is his boon which he gave to them, that you will have supreme devotion. Pritim Chakre Premanam Utpadayamase. So he Pritim Chakra means he increases the love, manifested the love of all the cowherd people. Iti Sarartha Darshinyam Harshinyam Bhakta Chetsam Dasmasya Ashtamodhyaya Sangata Sangata Satam. So this is the end of commentary, Sarartha Darshini by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur on this chapter, number 8. And I'll stop here unless anyone has any more question.
Dear Bhagavad, sorry.
Yes. Go ahead. Who is Narottam?
Maharaj, I had a question regarding this Jivas merging into Brahman. You said that in some circumstances they could be removed. So in which circumstances one attaining Brahma Sayuja or Ishvara Sayuja could be removed from that position or state of being?
If they have performed bhakti before, then it's can be removed.
So that could be a kind of evolution for them, going further, or
Then you can call whatever you want to call it. You want to call it evolution, call it.
so
Yeah.
that means that they will attain some.
Yeah, they go to
spiritual
Vaikuntha. They go to Vaikuntha. If they have done mixed bhakti, Gyan Mishra Bhakti, so they are also given the experience of Gyan and then they go to Bhakti. By Bhakti they go to Vaikuntha.
Okay, thank you.
Malati.
But usually sadhana siddhas cannot have the experience of Krishna's parents, they only are assistants. So are there any other sadhana siddhas like Dara and Drona who have this
Yeah,
chance?
there are different mentions of them. In Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu also there is mention of this woman who was dancing in front of Murti Chandrakanti. Sloka from Padma Purana. So it is said sometimes she became Satyabhama or something. No, I don't think she became Satyabhama, but somebody becomes Satyabhama, somebody becomes Rukmani, somebody becomes something else. So becoming is not possible because Satyabhama, Rukmani, they are eternal people. So sometimes some devotees may be doing tapasya to become Krishna's wife, so they don't become eternal, queens, they become their servants. But they may be given just like Devas, they also entered into the various associates of Krishna. And Brahma said that you go on earth. So it was said that it does not mean that they became gopis, means they only merged in them and then they were separated.
But if a sadhana siddha now would do any kind of sadhana to become Yashoda or Nanda, that would be considered.
Yeah, but you have to know that somebody has to know with this much clarity of thought that you cannot become Yashoda. If he is doing sadhana, he is following Shastra. So he would understand that nobody can become Yashoda. He can only do sadhana that I want to have the relationship with Krishna as parent. But not that I want to become Yashoda. That is Ahingra Upasana, that is not allowed.
So in such a situation, it would be possible that they have this experience of Yashoda? If they do
Yeah.
it properly?
Yes. That's why it is said that Krishna, he expanded himself into all these cowherd boys to give this, because so many of them have performed sadhana to have Krishna as their son. So then he fulfilled their desire like that.
Not only as a nurse, but directly as the mother. Not just as the nurse, like Putana, but as his mother.
No, because Krishna became their child. Okay, anything else?